Yes, with pleasure now. It's great to introduce my next special guest on my show. A refreshing change to my usual choice of guests. We have Corey Durham. Welcome to my show, mate. How we doing?
Hey, doing great. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Great. Now, you're an entertainer to say the least, but you do various like impressions, impersonations, and voiceovers. Um, how long have you been doing this for?
For professionally, about 3 years. I started right around the COVID, like not it was after that, but not very far after that. So I kind of started in an unconventional way. A lot of people they do a lot of like they go to these conventions and they get connected with voiceover people and take courses and things. And that was the original plan was to try to do that, but then COVID happened and you couldn't do that. There wasn't any of those. So I started taking like master classes and stuff online and just doing my own research and trying to connect with people on through, social media and that seemed to have worked for me. I don't know if that's normally how it works, but it has for me.
Oh, that's good. Would you say it happened by default then? Kind of by accident or chance or
Well, I was at a crossroads where I was like about to turn 30, and I said, I'm going to turn 30 in a couple of years, and I really either need to figure out what I'm going to do and do this and take a shot at it, or I'm just going to get stuck doing something I don't want to do the rest of my
Mm,
life. So that's
sure.
kind of where I was at.
Yeah. And where are you based in the world right now?
I am in the US. I'm in Texas, North Texas. So I've been here my whole life.
Very fine indeed. And do you get many impressionists where you are, like voiceover artists, or are you one of a kind over there?
Not in my area, but I'm about 2 hours north of Dallas, and there's a lot of voiceover. There's a voiceover industry there, and then of course most of it is in either New York or LA. So I kind of do different. I mean, a lot of it's remote, especially since COVID. It's mostly remote work.
Hmm,
So I have my own home studio. I do all of my work from there. So it's pretty
that's
cool.
good. Especially with the power of Zoom like we're doing now, it's just makes it
Yeah.
more convenient rather than travel to a radio
Right.
station. Yeah, you can do it from the comfort of your own home.
Right. Yeah.
And like growing up as a kid, like doing impressions like in front of the mirror, was that something you did?
Oh yeah, yeah. I used to I watched a lot of cartoons as a child and I still do and I share them with my daughter now. But yeah, I grew up watching Looney Tunes. That was my favorite, probably still my favorite cartoon ever.
Yeah.
So I started learning how to do those voices.
And I learned how to do Bugs Bunny, Doc. That was one of my favorites to do for a long time. And then I learned how to do Daffy Duck.
And
You're despicable.
and Porky Pig,
That's all, folks.
things like that. So I learned how to do those kinds of voices and other cartoons and one of them was Barney. I started doing that because I grew up as a Barney kid, but 'cause it was really popular when I was a child. But then I really started watching it again when I had my daughter almost 4 years ago, and that I started doing the voice just because I wanted to do it for her. And so then I got hired. I put it up on the internet, and then I got hired by a company out of Canada that was doing a live tribute show, and it was a 30-minute live show where I did a whole script voicing Barney, and then Mattel saw that, and it was actually a division out of the UK that hired me to do some online content as Barney, which was really cool
Amazing.
because growing up as a fan and then getting to actually voice Barney was pretty awesome.
Cool. And then with Looney Tunes, did you ever do like Tweety Pie and Sylvester as well?
Oh
Like
yeah,
I thought I saw a putty tat. I did. I did see a putty tat.
you know that
That darn bird right there.
which
that's it. That's impressive.
Sylvester and Daffy are really similar. They're just different pitch. They're the same voice. They're just pitched up and down.
Mm. And then is it Mel Blanc who did the
Mel
voiceovers,
Blanc,
or
yes.
was he an inspiration for you as well?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, he's my favorite voiceover actor of all time. Yeah, he was phenomenal. His range was incredible. All the crazy voices, that was what really started, when I found out this guy's doing all of these voices. I was like, that would be a really fun job. And so then I started trying to learn how to do it.
And was Sesame Street? Did you do a few impressions from Sesame Street?
No, I haven't ever really. I love Sesame Street, but I never really tried to do any of those. I'll have to practice on those and figure out if I can do any of them.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I watched it. The only thing I can think of is Birdie, maybe
Yeah.
back in the day. It'll come back to me if I do watch an old episode though. That's great. And do you perform on stage at all over there?
No, I haven't. But I've thought about it. You know, I've had a lot of people that have said you should put together like a comedy routine where it's mainly based around the voices and stuff that I do. And I've thought about it. You know, I actually have a couple of contacts within the industry that I know that do stand up. So some of them were like, you should do something with that. I think it'd be really popular. So I've thought about it, but right now I'm kind of more focused on just trying to really establish myself as a voiceover
Hmm.
talent and you know and character animation. So that's been the focus right now, getting demos made and you know, stuff like that.
Yeah, see what happens. I was going to ask you, but you probably answered the question already. Yeah, what are your thoughts on, like, you know, America's Got Talent or Britain's Got Talent? You know, when would you ever consider something like that entering the
Yeah,
competition?
I have thought about that. I think that would be fun. Probably 3 or 4 years ago, never in a million years would I've thought of doing that, just because I was like, no, I'm not good enough for that. But now I'm kind of, you know, as I've done some work and, you know, get feedback from people and they enjoy what I'm doing, I think I could do it. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah, and anything's possible if you put your mind to it.
Right.
And do you ever get nervous? I know you say, yeah, being on stage, you don't do much stage work, but when you have been on stage, how do you overcome nerves?
You know, I grew up doing I was in a band as a teenager, you know, just nothing that ever came of it, but we did some live shows and at first I was pretty nervous. I didn't like I'm not really a person that likes to be in front of a bunch of people.
Hmm.
So that's kind of perfect for the voiceover thing because you're just in a booth by yourself. So I think that makes it a lot easier because you're not really having to look at anybody's reaction. You can take it, and I think we're the harshest judges on ourselves.
Mm.
So I just kind of listen to it, and if it's like if I think it's pretty good, then I think other people are. I'm going to be much more harsh than someone else, I think.
Yeah. And who has been the most kind of interesting person you've kind of met on this journey? Whether it's like
Oh man,
famous.
there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot. So like Bob West, the original voice of Barney, I got to meet him. We actually made a video together earlier this last month, and where we're singing "I Love You" and alternating lines as Barney. So like, I love you, you love me, and then he sings one, and then I sing one, and goes back and forth, which is really cool because we've gotten to become friends from that. And then you know, I wouldn't say I'm friends with some of these people, but I have gotten to at least talk to them and get to know them a little bit. So like Jeff Bergman that did some Looney Tunes stuff has sent me a message and he's like, man, your Bugs and Yosemite Sam are really good. You know, I'm impressed. And that's cool to hear people who have officially voiced those characters to be like, hey man, you're really good at that. That was awesome.
Amazing. And do you have a YouTube channel or a podcast where people can follow you?
Yeah, I do have a YouTube channel. It's pretty much all of my social media. It's just Korey Durham Voices. So it's spelled with a K. So it's Korey Durham
Mm.
Voices. But my website, you can get all my links on my website, and it's actually just kdvoices.com.
Mm.
So that makes it really easy.
Yeah. And then I know we talk about impressions, but you also will branch out to like audio book narration and some other avenues as well.
Yeah, I do. I haven't done a lot of audiobook at all, really, because I just don't have the time to do 30 hours of recording that is
Mm.
required for it. But I have done children's audiobooks. So because they're shorter, it's quicker to do. And I liked a lot of the children's book, there's characters and stuff that are you can do a voice for and you can
Mm.
figure that out. So I've worked with there's a TV show called Mr. K's Clubhouse that's out of Nebraska. And so I've been hired by that. He does books alongside his television show for kids. And so I've done some of those audiobooks, which is fun.
Cool. Great. And I noticed that you're wearing a Bowling for Soup hat. That's an Ace
Oh,
band.
yes, yes, yes.
Great. What's your favorite track from them?
Oh man, I don't even know. I've been a Bowling for Soup fan since I was a child, probably. And I've actually become really good friends with Jarrett.
Oh,
So
wow.
I know him really well. Actually, I was on his podcast last month.
Mm,
He has a podcast called Rockstar Dad Show, which is awesome. If you haven't seen it, it's fun.
mm.
And I was on that, but I've gotten to know him over the years from going to so many Bowling for Soup shows, which I've always been a huge fan of his. And over the last couple of years, we've been friends on Facebook for probably a decade, but he started seeing me do these videos of impressions, and he started reaching out. And he's like, "Man, dude, that's awesome. I'm so proud to see you doing something that you love." And
Mm.
so it's kind of cool. He says it's like it's cool to be on the flip side of things, because I was coming to his shows loving what he did and supporting
Yeah,
what he did. Now he's kind of getting to do that with me, which he said that was kind of, it's been really cool. And it's
yeah.
been so awesome for me to like be like, this guy's one of my heroes, honestly. Like I love the dude. And I'm getting now he's like supporting what I do, which is amazing to me.
That's respect, isn't
Probably
it?
if you're asking my favorite song of theirs, probably either the first one I ever heard was High School Never Ends. I love that song.
Mm,
Um, but there's a lot of deeper tracks that they do that I really love that aren't hits on the radio.
mm.
Since we broke up, whenever I got a divorce, that was one of my favorites, and some of that. So yeah, I
Cool.
really like a lot of their albums.
Yeah, good, good. I mean, the only one I really know really is 1985. I remember the video to that one when it came out. It was quite a commercial hit over here in the
Yeah,
UK. But yeah, that's fantastic. Before I let you go, would you like to do a quick Barney impression?
Barney. Yeah,
Oh, how's it going? It's so great to see you.
And
yeah,
it's been really great to see you, Corey Durham. Thanks
yeah,
for just coming on and telling me what you do, and best of luck with your
yeah,
career as well.
yeah. Absolutely. Thank you.
Brilliant. And we'll check you out on all the socials and spread the word, And
Yeah, it's
so,
Korey Durham voices on everything, pretty
yeah,
much.
see if we can get you some work over here in the UK.
Oh
We're
yeah,
all, we're always we're all short of impressionists over here for some reason, and
yeah,
impersonators and voiceovers. That's fantastic. Thanks for joining me on today's show. Much obliged.
yeah. Thank you.
Lovely.